Hello. So I'm here with a short little video of doing something with my BB Craft wooden discs. I've already shared you on getting them and the cords. Look at these luscious colors. I really like these cords. They're great for macrame. I've already used some, so they're not all in that bag. So these little wooden discs have lots and lots of things they could be used for. Just simple little wooden discs. I have prepped some. This one here, I just colored with the colored pencils. And then on the back, I used the oil kind of colored pencils and just blended it so it's got some color. So there's a dangle. Add it to whatever you need to add it to. I have a couple I've already gessoed. And then I have one that I doodled on. Go figure, I doodled on one. These could easily be charms. I thought this was kind of cute. I just put one on a bulb pin and made it a dangle on my journals. So this would be fun. And you could do a whole bunch of these. You could do it, even do it down here, you know. If you do that, I would curve this a little bit so that you don't lose it. My first intentions were a bookmark or a bracelet. So we're going to take this one. I'm using a pair of punch pliers that are intended for metal and jewelry. And I'm going to punch a hole right there. Now I could easily have gotten my drill out and it might have been better because this one doesn't seem to want to go all the way through. But I'm also afraid to push and split the wood. So there we go. There it went. So I'm going to come on this side and push again just so that it's a good even hole to put my cord through. Still doesn't want to be a very big hole. But I didn't figure you guys wanted to hear my drill. So you have to be gentle. It's wood. It's thin. It would crack, definitely. But just kind of, if you had a little file, you could do that and it would sand it at the same time as it's poking the hole. Or enlarging the hole, I should say. So we could do this, and we could take our cord and this is the long ones. Okay, so we'll start in the hole that I made just so we can see that it works, or hopefully it works. And I'm just going to see if I can get this through there. The end is a little wider, so it may not go right away. Let's see what happens if I put my crochet hook in there. My wood's about to split on the back, like a little tiny sliver. I'm going to go ahead and take that off so I don't have to worry. And I'm not sure I can bring this through like that. Nope. So definitely I need a bigger hole punch, and I do have bigger ones. I just grabbed this one because I thought it looked like the biggest, but a little drill bit wouldn't hurt that at all. So we'll go on this side. We'll pretend that this one's working right. And this is going to be, I don't know what yet, but we're going to just leave it like this. And I'm going to get my macrame board out. And I will use that hole that I put in there as a station hole. If I could see it. And we'll pin this down to keep it in place. Pull these two tight. And take one of these, and we're going to do some macrame. And I like to keep some tension down here, so I'm going to put a pin here to wrap my cords around and give it a little bit of staying power, at least to get started. I'm going to find the end so that I can, you know, as you work, it's not all going to stay centered and everything, but we can get it as close as possible. That's always good. So we got the center. We're going to take our first knot and here's our first one. And I always remember, started my loop on this side, so I'm going to stay. If I want it to spiral, I would stay on this side, but I don't. I want it to lay flat because I'm thinking it might be a bookmark kind of thing. So this one, we'll make the loop on this side. Now we'll do this side. And you continue right and left until you speak, and then you forget where you're at. And it really seems like it takes a while, but it's pretty fast. So I know you don't want to sit and watch me make all these knots. So we're going to come back when I have it done. Okay, so I have this done. And it's not really long enough for a bookmark. So far it's only this long because I forgot these were cut for a bracelet. And I want to make a bookmark. So we're gonna call it good here. I'm going to take one more stitch. And when they get short, they're hard to work with. That's why I'm going to quit. So I've got this last stitch, and I'm just going to tie a knot. And then I'm going to take these longer ones, which were our center core, and I am going to tie these two in a knot. Thinking square knot here. I'm not sure if I'm going to get a square knot, but it's kind of the idea. And you can put a little drop of freight check or clear nail polish on those knots to keep them there. And that's always a good thing to help keep them in place. You can also kind of fuse it with a cigarette lighter or something. So there you go. You got that. It's kind of a knot. You could put on a big hold bead that ended here, or just leave it. I think it's pretty cool. I did have a few beads, and I'm going to take this little bulb pin. And yeah, I'm always taking something off one project for another. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this bulb pin through here. And then I got some charms here, and they're just little beads that I've already worked into a dangle and some extra little beads. I'm putting them on here, and I'm not really worrying about the color because this is what I just had. And honestly, I just now thought of doing this. So you use what you've got because that's how we roll. And see if this will go into the skinny end of the bulb. It's not really wanting to, but we'll try it the other direction where it's a little less bulk. Well, we'll just leave it like this. So there you got that. You could fill this up with all kinds of dangles. Now you've got all these strings back here, so now you need to determine what you want to do. Probably I would have normally did it as long as I wanted for a bookmark, and this would be the part that hangs out of your book, like that. I kind of like a tassel, but look at this. You get the process of making a book, the process of macrame, some doodling or some drawing or some painting or something, and a little bit of jewelry. So it's kind of like a multi-craft project. So you could trim these off if you wanted, or you could, now this one's going to be short, so it would stick in the book, and therefore it would kind of have, you know, some bumpies in your bookmark. But if it was long enough to go all the way over, or through your book, it wouldn't be such a big issue. So you can just put on a little charm and tie it on. Now I'm only going to put a single knot on here, but just about anything would work. And so we have the knots on this part, and we still have these two long ones, and of course they're going to be longer because they were the core. So I'm going to go ahead and cut them off here, and I'm going to add, I'm going to see if there's a bead or two here that'll go through here. Yep, that one will. Let's see if this little one right here, and that one will. So you can just put some beads on there too. The cord is about a 1 millimeter, I'm guessing. I have a set of calipers here to measure that, but I don't know where they're at for sure. So these are going to be the same beads because we know they fit, and that's what matters, right? So it works. So there, in no amount of time I made this cute little bookmark. You can use it in your journal. Of course, I definitely would want this hanging out the top and then this hanging out the bottom, but it's all good. And if you made your cords long enough, you could have it hanging out the top, and then these can be bookmarks for other pages. Make them all nice and long. Give you lots more fidgety, fiddly stuff to play with. Okay, so we did is a real simple. I outlined that. I colored it with just a black pigment pen, and then colored it in with Prismacolor pencils. And then I did the doodle, and I already showed you that one, but I'm just going to show you. I'm just using, this one is Microperm 05. It's a permanent pen, and I was looking for a piece of colored paper or something that you could see this just a little bit better. Here we go. Not, that doesn't help much either, does it? Okay, my little cutting mat, that's better. So all I'm going to do is hold this in place, and I'm just going to doodle. And it works amazing. My pens have been laying here, so they're a little cold this morning. And I always go over my lines more than one time so that they're multi-lines. It's a little bit better for you. And I'm just going to doodle. And this pen just acts like it doesn't want to work. So let's see what this other Micron laying here does. I only grabbed 2 pens, so. And of course, because we're making this into something that could get wet or have a lot of handling, that's kind of why I'm using a permanent pen. I have some favorite pens that aren't permanent, but I just kind of felt like this needed to be permanent. So I'm not doing anything real fancy, just some lines and some circles. And we could call that done, but you know, that less is more is ridiculous. So let's do a little more doodling, and we could fill in around it, or we could make it look like it's outlined. Of course, I'm trying to not go through the circles, just to kind of add to it. Can put some little circles in there if you want less white space. I know it's hard to see, these are tiny, and the pins have to work right side up. So I'm apologize for that, but you can kind of get the idea. I'm going to take this one and yep, see, the pins just have to be straight up. They just don't want to work tonight without it. Does that help with this? But one of my favorite things to doodle lately has been these little incomplete grids, just lines like they're all crossing, and then go back in and put some dots on the ends of some of them. No, I know I say it all the time. No rhyme, no reason. Just playing around and having a good time. So, real simple doodle. And you can come in now. I'm going to come in and put some dots. If you're working with, and I don't have my masking tape here because I keep that in the other office, I'm going to put a piece of Scotch tape down and put this little booger there so it stays. And maybe I can get my hand out of the way so you could see more of what I'm doing. So I'm just putting some dots at the ends of some of my lines. Kind of just changes this up a little bit. And somehow along the way, even though I think I'm just doing some of the lines, I end up doing most of the lines. So we have that side, just a little grid pattern, and this side with a doodle. If you want to finish on them, even when you know you're using a permanent pen, I still suggest that you spray them first, and then you can put another finish, a brush finish, just to be safe and no runs. So that's what I'm doing with my little wooden charms. And I probably will be back with more fun things with these because I got a whole bag full. And I think I want to make some other things, some different things. So thanks for watching. I'll have the links below to BB Craft and their program. And everyone, have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.